Hello? This is the Gucci Loafer, one of the iconic pillars of the luxury fashion world. I like to call items like this legacy pieces, much like the Chanel tweed jacket, or the Yves Saint Laurent asymmetrical jacket, or the Burberry trench coat, or like we've already tackled on this channel, the Burberry scarf. So today we're going to take a deep look and really ask ourselves, is this shoe deserving of its reputation? Yes it is. Before we jump into the review itself, to make sure this video isn't light on its loafers, let's take a quick look at the history of Gucci. Because Gucci has a very long and rich history, and it's not always expressly laid out in these hip-hop songs that it's featured in. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be a magnum opus of some rapper who has a 10-minute long song about the history of Gucci. If it's out there, please send it to me, internet. And hurry, my hopes and dreams travel with you. Gucci was founded in 1921 in Florence, Italy by Guccio Gucci. Good name if you can get it. The company initially made its name making high-end leather goods for the Italian elite. And what did the wealthy elite like to do in that time that required so much leather? The horseback riding. So Gucci was tasked for building some of the best leather goods for horseback riding. And that legacy lives on in their loafers, because you can see right here this metal detailing is designed to look like a horse bit. Did you know that? I say nay. But unfortunately, just like every other conversation in my life, it eventually all leads back to World War II. And during the war, Italy was caught up in losing it, making it much harder to get traditional supplies. And that had to lead to some new innovation on Gucci's part, thus giving us the bamboo handbag. And then after the war, babies started booming. It was in that time that Gucci gave birth to its golden boy, the 1953 Gucci horsebit leather loafer. And the shoe has been a hallmark of Gucci ever since. It's actually even still being made today. But that's not going to be the shoe that we're going to talk about today, since I decided to go with a different option. The 1953 is just a bit wider, and it has more of a raised stitching around the toe box, and it just wasn't as sleek and as modern as I wanted it. It just has more of a traditional moccasin look to it. It's still a very good looking shoe, I just wanted something a bit more sleek and hip, because I am sleek and hip. Duh. But the legacy still lives on, especially with this, the horse bit on the front of the loafer. This particular model is the Brixton. It's a slicker, narrower version of the 1953. The shoe itself shares a much closer profile to the Gucci Jordans, except for some minor detailing and one major gimmick that we'll touch on later. The shoe is a full leather construction, meaning anything that's not this metal right here or this little bit of rubber back here is all leather. The uppers, the outers, the inners, the outers, the sole, it's all leather. It's all still made in Italy. And that's a key detail to know, because being made in Italy is indicative of two different things. A, the quality of manufacturing is going to be very high, and B, the cost of labor of manufacturing in Italy is much higher. So that's something that helps drive up the prices of an actual Gucci shoe, because it's being made by skilled artisan people worth their salt in Italy, and not being cheaply made in China. But going back to the leather shoe, because it's quite a lot of leather, it feels very nice. It is some of the most softest and supplest leather I've ever seen. I mean, I want sheets made of this leather. The shoe is so soft and supple and immediately hugs all the contours of your foot. It feels like a glaze drizzling over your foot instead of wearing just another big bulky shoe. It just makes itself feel like a natural extension of your own foot. And the leather soles provide a firm connection between you and the ground. It still smells like high quality leather too. Damn feet. This is just far and away the most comfortable loafer I've ever had. And I just love loafers too. So let's talk quickly about the break-in period. Because for as skinny handmade Italian leather loafers go, not bad. Because a little peek behind the curtain, I have really bad bunions. Especially considering my age and gender. But they are big and they hurt, and always makes me dread trying to break in a new pair of shoes. It's normally a very long and painful process. But not with these. Since the leather is so supple, it only took about a day of hard wear for them to break in, and even then it didn't put that much pressure on my toes, just a little bit. But after, like I said, a full day of wearing them, they're basically entirely broken in, nearly custom molded to my feet. I love you. Yes, I do. But let's talk briefly about the gimmick that ultimately led me to get the Brixtons over its sister, the Jordans. And that is, it has a very soft, unconstructed heel back here, which means you can fold it down and wear it as a mule if you want. So it makes these very convenient if you just need to slip something on and run outside really quickly, but you don't want to take that long, arduous process of actually putting on the loafer. Because that can take upwards of 10 seconds, and you don't have that kind of time when the ice cream truck's coming around. But the leather is soft and lays down flat enough, it never feels like you're trying to walk on the back of your own shoe. It's a very nifty gimmick, but I have to be completely honest, I haven't used it as a mule nearly as much as I thought I would. And there are days that I set out where I think I'm going to try and wear this as a mule all day, and only after about an hour or so I just switch back to a normal loafer. Part of that could just be me. I'm so used to wearing normal loafers and not used to wearing mules that wearing mules just seems so foreign to me, and I'm not used to it. And another thing I want to touch on is the wear at the bottom of the sole. I've had these for about a month, maybe a month and a half or so, and you can see how much wear is on it right now. But whenever I get these, I decided I wasn't going to baby them. I was going to put them through the wringer. So I've tried to use these to walk on all sorts of surfaces. And it's weathered pretty hard, pretty fast. At least in my estimation. But again, I know I've been really hard on these. And it hasn't dissuaded my opinion on Gucci loafers at all. If anything, it's just made me kind of reconsider buying the Christian Louboutin loafers I was looking at. But another good thing to take note is, yes, this is a leather sole with just a touch of rubber down here for traction. And that rubber does F all. Don't get a leather shoe if you really want traction, because I slide in these a lot. No, not a lot, but there's times where I'm walking upstairs and I usually like to catch just the edge of a stair and I slip on it very easily. And another thing of note that you should know is that Gucci uses UK sizing on their shoes. You may be asking yourself, well, what's the difference between US sizes and UK sizes? Elementary, my dear boy. UK sizes are larger than US sizes. I've seen people say half size to a whole size. With Gucci, I usually recommend size 1 down. So using me, for example, I usually wear a US 10, and these are a UK 9, and they fit like heaven. But let's look at some of my favorite part of buying luxury products, and that's the packaging. This is the Gucci shoebox. It's a black box with a white front where it just says the Gucci emblem right there. If you look inside, it has a very close cross-grain pattern going throughout the entire box. All in all, kind of a subtle classic box. I was a little bit surprised. I know that this is probably the box that they have for years, but the head designer, Michele, I thought he would probably reinvent this and try to do something very fun and fresh with it, but it's not. It's just still very classic to me. And then you open it up to reveal some very soft and nice tissue paper along with the certificate of authenticity. And one very interesting thing of note as I scrolled through this certificate of authenticity is that when you open it up, the first page right here is written in Italian, and you normally expect things like that, especially country of origin where things are made, especially if they're Italian or French or anything like that. The first page will often be the native language, and the second would usually be English, because English markets is usually the biggest market. But that's not the case. In this case, it's actually Arabic, and you don't get to the English section to open up that pamphlet, and right there you can see all the English instructions. And as I'm reading this right here, and not this over here, because I can only read this language, apparently they're equipped with RFID scanners. In case if you're wondering, to confirm your authenticity, some Gucci's are in fact inlaid with an RFID scanner. So just in case if your friends ever doubted you on your authenticity of your Gucci loafers, just take them to the closest Radio Shack and prove them wrong. But moving deeper into the sarcophagus, as we open up all of the mummy wrapping tissue paper, that's whenever we see the glorious, glorious white satin shoe bags. The shoe bags for Gucci are some of the nicest shoe bags I've seen. Typically you see like cloth or flannel with them, and these are not. These are this nice, just satiny, silk, white shoe bags, and then right there you can see it, the stitched on Gucci logo. These are amazing. They're putting you on blast. And then from there, all you have to do is uncinch the bag itself and then slowly reveal the gorgeousness that is your Gucci loafer. But just in case if you're wondering my opinion on these, they're great and I love them. They are several magnitudes away from any other leather loafer I've had before. Granted, I'm sure there's some out there that I still need to get and really wear them on. Louboutin, of course, Ferragamo, other brands that I'll probably get eventually and then bring a nice review to you. But as it stands right now, the Gucci Horsebit loafer, the Brixton model, is my favorite leather loafer of all time. Opinions are of course mine and could change, but I'm actually very curious to hear your opinion. Have you had experience with Gucci loafers? If you have, let me know. Have you been wanting a pair? If you've had them for a while, how do they stack up to some other shoes? Please comment below and let me know. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to like it. If you disliked it, go ahead and like it anyway, I won't know. And if you think you know someone else that likes this video, please share it to them. And don't forget to subscribe. I want to do a lot more of these luxury type reviews, as well as in-depth sunglass reviews, and maybe some more nerd stuff, I don't know. If you like this video, you can click right here to subscribe, or you can click right here to watch more. And see you next time.